Welcome to the Binning Report. Coming up in this edition, the brand new Martin Army Community Hospital opens in grand style.
And U.S. soldiers earn a foreign proficiency badge.
Later, the National Infantry Museum hosts the region's only marathon. Welcome to the Binning Report. I'm David Wright.
And I'm Melissa Bell with the Fort Benning Public Affairs Office. Thanks for watching.
The wait is finally over. The new Martin Army Community Hospital opened its doors to a new era in healthcare. I had the opportunity to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Hundreds gathered in attendance at the brand new Martin Army Community Hospital to observe military and civilian leaders officially open the facility. They were joined by relatives of the late Major General Joseph Martin, who were on hand for the ribbon cutting.
This process started roughly 7 years ago with a congressional authorization to replace Martin Army Community Hospital, a hospital that's roughly 54 years old.
The historic day was significant for the Martin family as they enjoyed the honor of having a second hospital named for Martin, a leader known for his work in field medicine, medical military education, and training. So now this state-of-the-art facility will continue to bear his name.
Anybody that has come in and spent any time in the new hospital is completely enthused about this facility. Everybody is excited. As soon as you walk in the door, you have this large open area that just makes you want to come in and stay.
The new Martin Army Community Hospital benefits from sharing a number of proven design features with Fort Belvoir Community Hospital that serves the veteran community in our national capital.
This hospital embraced the Department of Defense's evidence-based design concepts, increased social support, intuitive wayfinding. Every inpatient room is a single patient room and has a view to the outside.
The staff is dedicated to improving the patient and visitor experience and are excited for the opportunities the expansion of the hospital's capabilities provides. The modern systems and design elements are poised to assure elite medical care for the future of our veteran community.
We want to make this facility the health care of choice for all our families, our soldiers and retirees in this area.
The new Martin Army Community Hospital began treating patients on November 17th. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
The holidays can be a busy time of year for many families, which is why extra services around post will certainly be helpful. Here's a roundup of events including the grand opening of a Department of Driver Services location, as well as the 11th Engineer Battalion stepping up to give Santa a little extra help this year.
Complete.
If you're on post in the early morning hours, it's not unusual to see soldiers marching, running, and doing PT.
Few more miles will be through.
Recently, Fort Benning's 11th Engineer Battalion had a couple guests hitching a ride with their ruck to include Elsa and Olaf. As soldiers marched to Santa's Castle on post, today's mission was about giving back.
This is the second year that 11th Engineers has done this ruck march to benefit Santa's Castle. This year they outdid themselves. Over 500 toys that they donated. It's amazing to see the unit that wants to give back.
With over 400 soldiers participating in this march, every soldier was able to donate, giving them a sense of pride to help others in a time of need.
We're extremely fortunate that our soldiers want to give back. You know, it's not something that's spearheaded by myself or the Sergeant Major. The soldiers want to do this. So we're extremely proud to have an organization that thinks, gives back to the community, and understand how important it is to give back to those that are less fortunate than ourselves.
For those still looking to donate, Santa's Castle is still in need of gifts for teenagers.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And in other news around post, the new DDS Customer Service Center held its grand opening ceremony to cut the ribbon and officially open the welcomed location.
We couldn't be happier than to be here in Fort Benning. This is a great opportunity for us. Something I know that Governor Deal is extremely proud of to have us here. This is the first DMV office we call DDS, obviously in Georgia, to be located on any military base in our state. and we think it's the place to be. With the growth of this area, it's just very important for us to be here and then offer this service back to our servicemen and women to be where they are.
This part-time office is open Wednesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and offers services from road tests to written exams and license renewals. With over 400 customers served since its opening, officials are proud to say the wait time averages less than a minute. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
Progress toward the future National Armor and Cavalry Museum has taken a very visible step forward. Patton's Park was officially dedicated on Veterans Day in honor of the enormous contributions of the Patton family. The Patton name is synonymous with armor and cavalry, and the Fort Benning community honored that fact in a dedication ceremony held on Veterans Day. The area where armored vehicles are now displayed outside the Benning Road Gate was officially named Patton's Park in honor of both General George S. Patton Jr. and his son, Major General George Patton.
It's amazing when you see a legacy unfold before you of somebody who loved his job and loved what he did, and both my grandfather and my uncle, I mean, they were totally dedicated.
The dedication ceremony took the time to mark the contributions of both the armored and air cavalry throughout U.S. Army history. Holding the ceremony on Veterans Day made the occasion all the more meaningful as the nation paused to reflect upon the contributions of our servicemen.
That kind of remembering is critical to where we are today, because our young people have not had the opportunity to learn where this freedom came from that they practice every day, and they have.
Patton's Park is located at the future site of the National Armor and Cavalry Museum. Organizers have targeted opening the museum by the year 2020, but with the ribbon cut on Patton's Park, it is already the first permanent display.
From the plans I've seen, it's going to be a gorgeous facility, and America deserves it. The men who serve in the armor, my dad who was in the cavalry, they deserve to have this recognition.
Also, the 11th Cavalry Regiment broke ground on the future home of their memorial. It has resided at Fort Knox since 1971, but with the Armor School now at Fort Benning and the eventual opening of the museum, it is now time to move the monument, which will recognize the sacrifices of the 11th Cav Black Horses going all the way back to their inception in 1901.
When the museum is built, this will be one of the largest museum complexes in the world, combining cavalry and armor and infantry, and we're very proud of that. We're proud to be a part of that with this memorial located here.
The 11th Cavalry Regimental Monument will be located in Patton's Park and is slated to open in spring of 2015. David Wright, Fort Benning TV. Coming up next, soldiers earn the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge.
The 194th and 198th Training Brigades, as well as the 3rd Heavy Brigade Combat Team, spent a week trying to earn their German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge, one of the few foreign badges that U.S. soldiers are allowed to wear on their Army service uniform. Katie Cooke tells us how American soldiers stacked up.
Soldiers earn the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge based on points acquired during the obstacles and completion of all tasks.
We expose the U.S. soldiers to kind of German Army culture and give them an opportunity to really experience what this is all about. And by the way, then also takes this as a tool to strengthen the ties between our two armies.
In BC, training, swim tests, and the medical tests are all pass or fail. The basic fitness tests, pistol, shoe, and road march are evaluated by the amount of points a soldier earns. This determines if they will receive a gold, bronze, or silver badge. Soldiers have 4 minutes to swim 100 meters while in uniform. When they are done, they stay in the water without taking a break or touching the pool's edge. They have to undress while remaining in the water.
I didn't panic. It was a little difficult trying to take your uniform off there because you didn't want to drop it, because you know if you drop it, you're in a real situation, you're actually going to lose whatever it is you dropped. So it makes you mentally think, if I drop this, I'm going to lose it, so you got to hold on to it.
Traditionally, we don't train as much in the pool as the Germans do. If you take a look, a lot of people are having, when they get out of the pool, they are fairly smoked. It is more difficult than it looks and sounds, and we're actually having a high rate of failure.
Soldiers earn points during the pistol shoot based on how many targets they hit and how many times. In order for the soldiers to earn gold during the pistol shoot, they must hit all 3 targets 5 times. 4 hits for silver and 3 hits for bronze.
It's the entry exercise for our marksmanship badge for the pistol. It's a 20-meter distance. You have to engage 3 targets with 5 shots, no time limit. First shot has to be double action. That means that the hammer of the pistol has to be brought forward, so it's a little harder for the first shot.
All of the events are linked to the German culture, and some soldiers participated for that exact reason.
For me, it's a little different than most. My mother's German, so I have a strong German heritage. So I think it means a lot to me being a German American to kind of go out and do my first official German event. It's probably my biggest motivator.
The lowest score a soldier gets determines which color badge he will earn. Today, 23 soldiers received gold, 55 earned the silver, and 3 were awarded the bronze badge. Katie Cooke, Fort Benning TV.
After the break, a new life enrichment program for soldiers and families.
The Army Family Action Plan is more than just a conference for soldiers and families on post. It offers a forum to address concerns and present recommended solutions. Katie Cooke brings us some of the issues that AFAP addressed this year.
The AFAP conference is one of the most important events held here on Fort Benning. Its goal is to improve the quality of life for soldiers and their families. Issues raised at the conference come directly from the grassroots level.
We get direct input and direct concerns from the soldiers, the family members, the civilians, and the retirees themselves. So any of the issues that are submitted that we get to work as a working group come straight from the population that we're serving, and not from necessarily all of the decision makers who may not know some of the issues that may happen down at the junior levels.
During this 3-day conference, volunteers were broken down into 3 different groups: force support, family support, and medical. 40 issues were submitted to the working groups, and 2 issues from each group were brought forward to the Garrison Command Team to see if the issues could be resolved at the local level.
Our first issue today, the title is Military ID Requirements for Dependent Prescription Pickup.
Our Garrison Command has been very supportive in trying to fix things that they can. Even if it does become an Army-wide issue or can be submitted as an Army-wide issue, they always look at those to see how they can improve Fort Benning, so that's always a plus.
Past results from AFAP have improved or initiated more than 190 programs and nearly 175 changes to the DoD or Army policy. The AFAP conference began in 1983 and within the last 10 to 12 years has gained substantial senior leader participation. A direct result of AFAP is the Huddle House here on Fort Benning, but AFAP's impact doesn't stop here.
A lot of the issues last year were local issues that we could handle here. This year we're really focusing on looking for those issues that we could elevate up higher to higher headquarters for further resolution that would have effect on the entire Army.
The Army is the only branch of the Department of Defense that has an AFAP program, and any issues can be submitted to AFAP year-round. Katie Cooke, Fort Benning TV.
The Army is only as strong as its soldiers, and a soldier is only as strong as his or her family. Fort Benning introduced a new program that takes a 360 approach to the non-commissioned officer that yields a trickle-down effect.
Non-commissioned officers were offered a rare opportunity to participate in a class intended to grow their skills as a leader.
The non-commissioned officer is that key element. He looks, or she looks, Joe in the eye every day and says, "How you doing? How you doing? What's going on with you?" And that intense curiosity that the NCO has for their soldiers makes it a healthy unit.
This class is not a treatment program and is not a PowerPoint session. Soldiers learn by doing. One of the main principles is that to be an effective leader, you have to practice good self-care, and to help your soldiers, you have to know the resources that are available to them. Tools learned in this class aren't marksmanship or land navigation, they're skills that address health, wellness, and fitness, areas that correlate to well-being and work performance.
So they try the yoga, they try the acupuncture, they get hypnotized. You start to sleep better. We have a lot of discussion and a lot of movement. That's when you start seeing the behavior change, because now the NCO can speak from experience. And when he has to talk to his soldiers about how do you sleep better, how do you talk to your spouse, how do you manage your own stress, he has more tools in his toolkit, but he can speak from experience.
This program is not based on Fort Benning, but travels to various installations, recently visiting places like Fort Bragg and Joint Base Lewis McChord. In addition to stress-relieving techniques, soldiers take a 360 approach, learning about finances, substance abuse, nutrition, and communication. Spouses are even encouraged to attend a couple's communication portion of the class to better enhance the home environment, a large portion of the soldier's life.
I never thought about doing yoga in general. Yeah. And just by yoga and actually taking the time, as they were teaching us, taking the time for yourself, your breathing, clearing your mind, just so refreshing. You know, inside we're all laughing, giggling, and just having a great time. At the same time, we're testing each other's capabilities of trust that we have in each other. You know, It's like, just let go, you know, and I got you.
By putting these skills to practice in the class, they're more likely to put them to practice in real life. Being a better NCO and role model and able to mentor soldiers on problems that they face today. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
Coming up next, thousands of runners take to the streets.
Now in its 5th year, the Soldier Marathon is firmly established as a national event, attracting runners from throughout the country. And the best part is, they all learn a little bit about Fort Benning and our soldiers.
Runners, take your mark.
The running community from across the country united at the National Infantry Museum for the 5th annual Soldier Marathon. This event is the only full marathon held in the Columbus region, and it continues to grow every year. Once again, pre-registration numbers exceeded all previous years, as more than 2,300 runners took to the course in support of the soldiers who serve our nation.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so much more rewarding doing this one versus the other, where in the others you feel like you're just doing it for yourself. This one, you really feel like you're doing it for something more, and it really brings appreciation to what those guys go through on a daily basis.
The weather was clear, allowing runners to enjoy the scenic route, whether they were running the 5K, the half marathon, or the full marathon. It was the perfect day to honor our military by challenging yourself.
I was running by myself for a while, then I had a couple friends from my college with me, but then I had to sprint ahead because soldiers lead from the front.
Andy Mullins was this year's winner, his first place finish clocking in at just under 2 hours 54 minutes. But the real winners were those that came away with a new appreciation for the service of our soldiers.
Many of these runners would never come to Fort Benning, so the hook, if you will, is the race. Bring them here, and then when they see it and they taste it and they feel and they see this Vietnam Wall and they see this National Infantry Museum and they see the beauty of Fort Benning, they say, you know, this is really something to be proud of, and I'm glad I'm an American.
The Soldier Marathon is nonprofit, with all proceeds donated to support the National Infantry Museum and the House of Heroes. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and many people often wonder what it takes to feed an army. We took a special behind-the-scenes look to see how Fort Benning dining facilities will make this day extra special.
For many who prepare to host Thanksgiving dinner, it can take a week of planning, shopping, and prepping. For Fort Benning's dining facilities to pull off a feast of this magnitude, it all starts 3 months out.
Now, this is done like a fine ballet. Special orders is 45 days out, and they start coming in closer you get to Thanksgiving. The fresher the food, the closer it is to Thanksgiving Day it arrives.
This Thanksgiving, Fort Benning is planning to serve over 14,000 meals, and that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ordered for this day is 5,600 pounds of turkey, and if that doesn't sound like a lot, then imagine the 3,300 pounds of ham it will go with, the 2,100 pounds of steamship round, and the 31,000 pounds of fruit. And we can't leave out the 2,500 pies, not to mention cakes, jello, and mousse. It will take a team of over 1,000 people working together from planning to execution to make this day happen.
So I'm telling you that when I say you get food fit for a king, I mean every soldier comes to that door will be treated like a king at a feast beyond their imagination. You know, when you taste that dressing and it tastes like Mama made, it just changes who you are.
For these culinarians, it's a passion. It's a time to toe the line as they display their specific talents, and this nonstop operation starts 24 hours in advance and goes well into the midnight hours.
Now the big night is the night before Thanksgiving. That's when everything gets pushed together. That's when the art comes in. That's when the pieces of the puzzle come together. You know, Santa Claus does it on Christmas Eve. We do it on Thanksgiving Eve.
From roasting to baking and everything in between, merely seasoning turkey thighs alone will take an hour to complete.
So every slice of pie, every piece of meat, every drop of gravy will be done with love in mind, because everybody's doing this. It brings them back to their childhood. Everybody remembers Thanksgiving. And you know what? Everybody remembers the first Thanksgiving they spent away from home.
For soldiers who are training at Fort Benning and won't be able to make it to the family table, take heart that they'll be well taken care of and even served by their senior NCOs and commanders.
When the family sits around the table at home for Thanksgiving, there's going to be an empty seat there for your soldiers here at Fort Benning. I will tell you that your soldiers will be well taken care of. They may not be surrounded by their immediate family, but they were surrounded by 14,000 other family members, and they will enjoy, believe me, they will enjoy Thanksgiving feast that will be set for a king.
Because when the curtain goes up, the doors are opened and the audience walks in, the DFAC will be ready and waiting for their guests of honor. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
You know, David, Thanksgiving for one family can be stressful enough. I can't even imagine having to feed that many people. So for that, I'm thankful.
One thing I'm thankful for is the sacrifice made by our soldiers and military families every day.
And for all the families out there missing their soldiers this Thanksgiving, they can take heart knowing that Fort Benning will be taking care of them. And that will bring this edition of the Benning Report to an end.
But you can watch these stories and others on youtube.com/BenningTV or at benning.army.mil.
And you can also like us on Facebook.
From the Public Affairs Office, thanks for watching.